Beyond is Kevin, Lego, 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 Hinton. Best be on your way. He's here.
Hinton here from Legoland Florida. Come on in with me to check it out and see what we can find. Hey guys, so we're here enjoying Legoland Florida. It's been a really fun experience so far. We've gone on a couple rides. It's a little warm. Sadly, Miniland USA is closed because they're doing some 10-year anniversary upgrades, building some new shade for that, but it looks awesome. Keep enjoying the video. Hey guys, I'm here in front of the big shop, if you can see, and it's time to get some Legos. I have a budget, but we'll see what we can find. Let's go in. Had a successful day. A busy exit. I don't know how much of this you guys can hear, but we're walking out. I have a surprise to show you guys what I ended up picking up. So stay tuned to the end of the video so you can find out what it is. And everyone say with me, bye Legoland.
Okay, before we hear from our special guest that I've been waiting to have featured on one of my videos, and before I reveal what I bought from Legoland, I thought I'd give you guys my impressions and some of the things that I took away from this trip to Legoland. The first things that I wanted to talk about, get them out of the way because I really had an awesome time, was what would I change or what would I like to be better? And the number one or the number two thing that I would like is there are a lot of adults that go to Legoland with the kids. And you can tell the rides that cater to both are the most popular rides there. There's some kids ones that you can tell that the parents brought them for that, but most of the time I feel like the rides that were busiest were the ones that did a good job of catering to both the adults that were there as well as the kids. And so that's something that I definitely think they can improve is especially on some of the older rides or making more rides available that kind of cater to both audiences would be awesome. The second or the number one thing that I really was, I guess, disappointed with for the trip was I had dreamed of the Lego store as being, I guess, it has everything. And I'm really happy and excited to show you guys what I got. But I definitely didn't see all the things that I was hoping to see at a Lego store, especially not at the Legoland store. And so that was one thing that, inventory there. They did have some on display, which was cool to see. There's an awesome Harry Potter Diagon. I'm going to get flamed for this Diagon Alley set that is just awesome. I think it looks super cool. It's obviously like a big Lego set and expensive. So not in the budget for this trip, but definitely one I'd be interested in the future, and they only had it on display. So just one of those things that, while I was excited for what I did get and what they did have available, I definitely had higher hopes. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was to give my top 5 in terms of the actual worlds that are portrayed there at Legoland Florida. If you watched my last video, they split up the whole park into different worlds that are kind of their themes. And so my number 5 was the Lego Ninjago world. Now, the world itself I loved. I thought it's perfectly themed. But my issue was I wanted more, and there was no more. In terms of like size, it's one of the smallest worlds, and it has so few things, but I loved them. And so while I want to put it higher, I just wish they had more to interact with. Number 4 on my list was the Lego City world. This is one of the bigger worlds, and I loved some of the different aspects they had, especially for my kids. It's a great world for the kids. But like I mentioned in things I'd change, I just didn't, personally, I didn't get to interact with as many things as I had hoped for. But in terms of Lego standpoint, it is an awesome world. Number 3 was the Land of Adventure. This is kind of the Indiana Jones-esque world that they have. And I really like those themes. I have some in my bin of forgotten Legos. I have some of my Indiana Jones or whatever the esque set was called. I still have some of those, and so I like the themes. I like some of the rides. It definitely was one that catered to both categories more, and yeah, just a world that I enjoyed. Number 2 on the list was the Lego Movie World. Part of the reason it's not number 1 was there's one other theme that I like better. Otherwise, it's a new world that they built there. Super fun rides, definitely crowded, definitely one of the worlds that is more popular. And I agree, there's a reason it was very fun. But not my number 1 Lego world was the Kingdom world. And this is like the old school knights, Merlin, dragons, all that. They've got a whole kind of castle built up, and I just love that atmosphere. I love the theme. It's one of my top favorites. I think Harry Potter, Star Wars, The Kingdom, and maybe the old Western ones were some of my top like favorite sets from when I was a kid, and so it was just really nostalgic to be there. The rides, one of which I won't say yet, there's some really good ones, and so that's my top world. And then going on to what I think about the actual ride. So in terms of my top 5 rides, number 5 would have to be the Battle of Bricksburg. This is a ride that while we didn't get a go on, we were still able to interact with it, which is one of the reasons it's in the top 5. It's a water theme. You ride on a boat. You get to use water cannons to like squirt different things on the ride, but also people outside of the ride. And the people outside of the ride have the same water guns to squirt back. And that interaction is really cool. I really enjoyed that. The kids were able to help me squirt, some boat of passengers, and the fact that both can interact was super fun. I saw adults who were having way too much fun spraying the kids and the other adults who were on the ride. Number 4 would have to be the Land of Adventure ride. It's the Lost Kingdom Adventure, and you're going through with these little guns, and you're shooting these laser kind of spots, and that makes the different objects move and interact. And then you obviously have a score that you're trying to keep track of. I love those types of rides. I guess I'm a sucker for the shooter rides, but it was really fun. The props and everything, the interactions when you shoot something were really fun. I like the theme, so that's why it takes the number 4 spot. Number 3 was the Lego Ninjago ride in the Lego Ninjago world. This one was just a little newer than the Lost Kingdom Adventure. You shoot orbs versus having a gun, so you move your hands. I did feel like I struggled with that aspect more than I did the gun, but the 3D elements, like they have 3D glasses, and it was just a really cool visual experience. My kids loved it. They did way better than I did at that one, which was funny, but it was really fun. Number 2 on my list would be the Masters of Flight Lego Movie World ride. And this is, if you've been to the Disney parks, it's like a soaring ride where you're essentially all on a big kind of bench, and it moves you around like you're flying through the air with a giant like IMAX-like screen in front of you. Definitely more intense than the soaring rides. You're going through like an action sequence versus like a leisurely stroll over beautiful areas. This is like a Lego world. You're in the Lego movie world, and you're going through this action thing. So it's a lot more mobile than the other ones that I'd been to, which was a really different experience. It was really fun, and I enjoyed it, and that's why it takes the number 2 spot. But number 1, probably one of the most iconic rides from Legoland, is the Dragon. It's in the Kingdoms, and besides just loving the theme, they do a good mix of roller coaster and ride. They take you through this cool little dungeon with a whole bunch of Lego built, kind of features, just, kind of taking you through a castle type scenario. And then they take you on the ride, and the ride itself was very fun. And it's just so iconic. There's a reason it's awesome, and I really enjoyed it. And so it made the number 1 spot. Now, I tried to hurry through that. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if there are any rides that I forgot that you liked, or which one of them sounded like your one that you would enjoy. But I really wanted to give enough time to my guest star here who has joined us, so we'll go over that shortly. Stick around to the end to find out what I got at the Legoland Lego store. It's now my amazing privilege to introduce you to the one, the only, the person you're probably here for. That's right, my lovely and beautiful wife, Taylor Hinton. Woo, yay!
They're there. They're there.
Okay, let's start. Taylor, what were your 3 least favorite things about Legoland?
All right, my 3.
If you have any.
Oh, there were 3. 3 least favorite parts of Legoland was that, for one, the lines for Legoland, I feel like, did not. They were very long and longer than typically anticipated with their wait time, and I didn't really like that or appreciate that. And 2, most of the lines are actually outside. And so when it's a hot day, which it was when we got there, you're standing outside for a long time.
With kids,
With
that really
kids.
was a...
And this time it was with a mask on as well. So
Yes.
you're dealing with a lot of heat.
Yep.
The next thing that I felt like they need some improvement on, to me, is the Lego Friends aspect. They have a little Lego
Yes.
Friends world, which is the girl Lego. And having a daughter and me being a woman, I kind of like the Lego Friends. They're really cute, and
Yep.
I thought that their world and at Legoland was a little on the disappointing side. It looked, just because there was no pool to go visit it. I made
have the type of rides or attractions that some of the other worlds did.
Once I got in there, I thought it was okay, but I had no pull to go in there. Like, no shops, no...
And a lot of there were some shops, but a lot were
rides.
closed during COVID, and they just didn't have rides to really pull you in.
I wasn't impressed. I thought that they could have done a lot more with that world, and that was just my take on the Lego Friends. And then 3, Legoland is also very long, and there aren't a lot of it's not one where you can go from one world to the next. You have to walk through the worlds to get to one particular world, and so that was a little bit on the annoying side too, because we found ourselves wanting to go to one world and we'd have to walk quite a bit, and plus we want to get to the water park too, and when we wanted to get to the water park, you got to go to the end of the park. It's a very long walk, or at least it is when you are on a schedule.
That is very true. Now, what would you say are your 3 favorite things about Legoland, if you can narrow it down to just 3?
Yeah, I thought the water park was really well done. It was perfect for how hot I felt like it got during the day.
Yes.
And I felt like it was fun. It was super fun. My kids could have stayed there all day. We should have started there. That was my first thing. And my second thing, I feel like they had some really fun themed rides. They need some updating, but I feel like for some of the old rides, they still have some good new rides. But the rides were super fun when you got into them, and I thought that they were very well geared toward the Lego aspect of things, and I could appreciate that. And 3, I love how much I don't know. I loved the drinks. They had this refillable drink thing that you could refill all day long. You bought one cup and you could refill it all day long, and that was one of my favorite things about it. I just wish the lines weren't so long to refill.
That is very true. Okay, now for all those people who may someday want to take their kids or go, I would probably recommend take kids just because of the target audience. But what would you give as your 3 tricks or tips when going to have fun at Legoland?
So we made a few mistakes. So I guess we'll go through my mistakes and we'll do it better next time. So first off, I'd get the cup thing first thing in the morning when you enter the park, because you can refill it all day, and more than likely you're going to drink through all your water bottles, which is exactly what we did.
Yes.
Because it's all outside.
And
so
Florida or California, wherever, are both warm places. It's well needed, especially with children.
Yeah. So I would recommend at least getting one of those things and having it throughout the day so you can get your money's worth every time you refill.
Yeah.
I think the other part that I would recommend is that if it's going to be a busy, we went on a spring break week, so it was a very busy time of year.
But even with COVID.
Yeah. And so I think that knowing that, you should go to the newest rides first.
Yes.
Because we made the mistake of going to the back of the...
Which was what was recommended to us.
Yes.
Start at the back, work your way forward.
Right. And I can see why that would be awesome. But because there were so many people and the lines took so long, the newer rides, which it was like the Lego movie.
Yeah, the whole
rides
Lego movie world
was jam packed, and you had to wait hours for, or at least 2 more than hours.
Yeah.
For some of the rides, and so we wish we would have started there right when they opened, because they didn't have long wait lines when we first got there, but instead we walked to the end. So if it's a busy season, like probably like Christmas or spring break, go to the big new attractions like Legoland movie, and then go to the back and work your way forward, because yeah, it's a long wait time in Lego movie once the day starts.
Yep. And your third one?
Third one, enjoy that water park. If they have price differences for the water park time and the attraction thing. And I'm just going to say that you won't have enough time to do all of it in one day.
Yes.
We definitely did not.
Yeah.
But I feel like the water park aspect of things was worth it. So don't try to cheat, and try to, take that down to just do the attractions that you can do, because I would still suggest the water park. It was still fun. We did it at the end of the day.
Just a break after the heat, just 2 hours before it closed, and it helps refresh you, gives you some time to cool down. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was super fun. But that's just for me, and that's probably because we are big water people. We love swimming, so our kids could have, like I said, stayed there all day. So it was a good break from the hot day to go swimming, and yeah.
Well, that is my wife, folks. Welcome to her on the channel. It's her first time, even though she's helped behind the scenes quite frequently. So make sure to leave a like down below if you want to see more of her on any future videos. I hope to, get her opinion. She did not grow up with as much Lego involvement, so she might even help me build one of her first Lego sets here in the future once we're able to do that. So keep an eye out, subscribe so you can see when that video comes, and thank you for tuning in. Now, for the part you've all been waiting for, we'll say goodbye to my wife, and you will finally get to find out what I got at Legoland. And without further ado, let's open up and see what I bought from the Legoland store. That's right, this is what I bought from the Legoland store. I want you guys to pause. Comment down below what set you thought. It's a Harry Potter set. Leave your comment down below. Let's see if you're right. This set is, the one that I chose to get was Harry Potter, the Hogwarts Express. This is the book 3 version of the Hogwarts Express. So it has the Dementor, it has Remus Lupin, and it fits perfectly with the other book 3 Lego sets that I have. So stay tuned, subscribe so you can see when this video goes live next week. And thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.